What up guys, MrRhysReviews here today with a review for Driver San Francisco. Because as I've been watching videos on YouTube and stuff to watch the best moments of the game, because I've finished it, but I couldn't be bothered to right away go back and replay it and play through the awesome bits again. So I'd been watching the videos on YouTube, been commenting, and I've also commented like I finished the game. I'm like, oh, it's so awesome! Like, oh, how good's that ending? Fuck. And yeah, people have been all like, oh, how good's the game? How long is it? Is it worth buying? Should I get it? You know, all that kind of crap. So I thought it would just be easy to explain how the game is in a review as opposed to trying typing, because it's really hard to explain. Okay, so Driver San Francisco, based in San Francisco, of course. It's a full driving game. I say driving game as it's not really a racing game. There are races in it, and you can race, but the main premise of the game is to just drive and like do stuff. So I think of it sort of as, imagine a third-person action-adventure game. So, you know, like while you're on foot, like imagine a third-person action-adventure game. You go around, on foot, disabling bombs, taking care of whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's all that, but only in cars. So, so it's basically an action-adventure game, but in cars. So it's not a racing game, it's a driving game, I call it. And which the developers actually call it as well, I think. So yeah, and the main premise of the game is that John Tanner, who's the main character of Driver 1, 2, and 3, which are all really old games, and his partner Jones, apparently he's been in previous ones, but I've never played any Driver except for Parallel Lines and 76, and they have nothing to do with Tanner. But yeah, his partner Jones has apparently been in previous games as well, and he makes a return in San Francisco. And it's about you. Jericho is being sent off to wherever, to his, I can't remember now. He's like being sent off to his trial or to be killed. I don't think so. Like death row, I don't think so. But I can't remember. I keep, I can't exactly remember. I think they're just moving him or something to another prison, I think. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the main bloody plot point. But anyway, he breaks out. Well, he's in the prison truck. He takes over it, and then you're like, oh shit, because you're like, Tanner's all like, oh, I'm gonna see this through to the end. I'm not leaving, letting them take him to prison. I'm gonna stay on this bloody escort until they get to the other prison or whatever. So you start following him. He takes the van. He drives away. You chase him, and then essentially you get knocked into a coma. Now this is where other reviewers and shit said that the story becomes totally ridiculous and stupid and shit and stuff. But to be honest, the way the story is executed, you have to play the game from the beginning to the end and pay attention. If you're a friggin' idiot, you won't like it, but if you're smart like me, you'll actually understand it and you'll go, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Oh, look at that twist, that's awesome, and stuff like that. So, as long as you have brains, you'll actually understand the game and you'll actually like it. And I loved every single moment of the story. It was really intriguing. It was kind of cool how they kind of reference back and forth. Like in one mission, everything just freezes, and you're like, holy shit. Jones and Tanner are fighting. There's all like, oh, what the hell, man? You can't just keep doing that. Oh, fuck you, Jones. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, well, if it was my mind, I could just snap my fingers. Everything would freeze like this. And he snaps his fingers. The whole world freezes. He's like, holy shit, what? And he's looking around. He's like, oh fuck, what did I do? It's like, how do I get everything back to normal? Unfreeze. And then you just basically see an ambulance go past, and you've got to follow the ambulance, and everything's frozen because you're actually dying, and you got to follow the ambulance. It's got these two golden streams coming off the back of the ambulance, and you got to follow the ambulance round, and say your heart rate starts around 160 something or 180 something, and you got to get it back to about your heart rate to 85, and you got to keep following in those lines to actually make the heart rate drop. So it's really awesome like that. And then as soon as you drop it down to 85, everything goes back to normal. You're stabilizing, and the whole world comes back into play because you're not dead. So it's a really cool mission. Hopefully you kind of got it from how I explained it, but you know what I mean. And then of course the finale. Holy shit! I'm not going to ruin it, but just telling you now, basically the massive set piece that they use of San Francisco for the very finale is friggin' amazing. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So that's a brief recap of the story basically. Now, in terms of the gameplay, so the vehicles aren't exactly realistic handling, but they're very sort of arcadey and fun handling. Um, a lot of cars, or all the cars in the game, are very sort of twitchy. You got to get used to the controls, using the handbrake to corner. When you're using the handbrake and sliding, I do not recommend holding down the accelerator while you're actually using the handbrake, because it will normally make you spin out. So take your foot off the accelerator, put it back on like in a real car, and you'll be fine. But the same mechanics that they're using throughout the entire game, there's slight difference per car, but it's all roughly the same in terms of it being really fidgety and stuff, and very drifty. So the Pagani Zonda F, oh, wait, no, Pagani Zonda F? No, it's the Pagani Zonda, sorry. I don't know where I got the bloody F from. But yeah, the Pagani Zonda, which you play in Need for Speed all the time, it's like, holy shit, this car's really nice. In the game, there's actually a race during the story that you actually have to use the Zonda, and it is a piece of crap. It does not handle good at all. It's really drifty, like literally you turn slightly and you're like, and then you like spin out. It's really gay. So the handling doesn't work for like certain cars. Some cars it's really nice for, like the Dodge Challenger RT, which is Tanner's main car, the 1970 model of the Challenger. It's a really nice car. I didn't have any problems with the 350Z. The 370Z, the Nissan Skyline, and the Nissan GTI. I had no problems with all the Nissans. With all the Nissans in the game. I didn't really have a problem with the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. I didn't have much problem with many of the Lamborghinis, but and I only drive a certain sort of list of the cars. The Aston Martins, they were all good. But yeah, so like I just said, there's a huge selection of vehicles. There's 120, if not more. Within the game, you also have a challenge menu where you can do, I think it's a total of 36 challenges. So throughout the game you can find collectibles, movie tokens, and every 10 that you collect you unlock a movie challenge, which recreates a movie chase scene from like a movie chase scene that's based in San Francisco, and recreates it in the game, and you get to play it. It's pretty cool. And you also have other challenges that you unlock through the story mode, and there's ones that you get from Uplay, which is a cool account. I'll talk about it in a minute. And there are also other challenges which are like exclusive. So if you bought DLC, I got 4 of them from getting collector's edition, and there's 2 others which you unlock within the game or something. So I've got access to every single challenge technically that's available right now. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, back into the challenge. So within the game, willpower is what you use to buy garages, to unlock more cars, and to purchase vehicles themselves, and upgrades, like to make your power meter longer, to recharge it faster, to increase the amount of willpower that you get when you're earning it, like a multiplier, if you will, and a film camera, which is kind of cool. It's sort of like a third-person camera, sort of like the action camera in GTA, that you can buy with willpower. And to get willpower, there are a bunch of dares which come up as like really tiny icons within the map, within the game map. And then there's bigger icons which are actually challenges, like activities, which are race activities, chase activities, like police chase activities. And then of course there are other activities which are like cop chases, which are just anywhere in the world. Jump into a cop car, turn your sirens on. Actually, I don't think you have to have your siren on, but I normally do. So you turn the siren on, whatever. And then there will be vehicles with little red sort of like brake kind of symbols, like it's like a broken sort of symbol, and whatever, you just ram into them and like you start a pursuit, and then you can take them down. You can take them down with shifts. So like you just go ahead and do it. You get like a trophy or something for doing 30 of them, and they're really easy. So there's an easy trophy or achievement if you want. But yeah, those are the challenges and stuff. The activities and the dares and all that. And we'll get on to the actual activities that are needed for the story mode. Okay, so there's 8 chapters in the game, but each chapter, every chapter has major cutscene at the beginning and the end of the chapter to progress the story, which is what you look forward to. The story is really told through the cutscenes, not the actual game play itself. The gameplay is just, you know, to have fun, make it a game, obviously. The main story and like getting really enthralled in the story is through the actual cutscenes. They're really well done. The CGI in it is freaking amazing. Tanner and Jones and Jericho, they all look friggin' awesome in, you know, glorious HD. Awesome as. But yeah, so to progress the story, there are two main story missions, which is when you play as yourself, Tanner. No, sorry. When you actually play as yourself, Tanner, and then of course with your partner Jones in your Dodge Challenger RT from 1970. There are only two of those missions per chapter, and to unlock them, you have to at least do 2 city missions to unlock one of them, and then another 2 to unlock the other one. So at the beginning of a chapter, you'll have 4 city missions, which can range from helping the police defuse bombs to this Asian couple, not a couple, I don't think they're brothers, but they're best friends, and they're trying to get college tuition by street racing, and they're like throughout the entire story, literally. You have to do all 4 of these missions to do both story missions and progress the game. And these 2 Asian guys are in nearly every chapter in a different car, in a different race, and they're like, oh, come on, June, one more, man. It's all good. We're gonna get our money. You know, we're gonna be rich as. And it's one of those missions which is like in the one of the final chapters, which is in the Zonda, which handles like crap that I was talking about. You know, so yeah, it's like anything from street racing to partner street racing, where it's like a father, a daughter team with 2 other dudes, which are all, I think, the sons or whatever, the father or whatever, and you have to actually make sure that they both come in first, so you got to switch between them and make sure, you know, they both come first, which is first and second, which is awesome, and stuff like that. And those missions are fun, but it kind of breaks up the game, because every chapter you have to do 4 random stories, which are in themselves, they're kind of their own story modes, because they actually do most of the those, you know, the 4 missions I'm talking about. Most of them actually continue throughout the entire game, creating an entire story branch, and you know, and essentially they are their own side stories to the game. And then there's obviously the Tanner and Jones stories. And the awesome thing about it being like that is toward the end of, just before the final mission of the chapter. So, you know, there's 2 main story missions that progress the story, the Tanner and Jones missions, and as soon as you finish the 4 main story side missions, as soon as you finish all 4 of those and the first Tanner and Jones mission, you get a little cutscene. It's like previously on Drive to San Francisco, and it just recaps the story for you, so that, you know, you're never lost in it. You know, it's really cool. I think that's where a lot of the reviewers got confused. You know, they're like, wait, so what's happening? Because like you know, like me, I did actually remember everything that was happening up to that point, but because they were being shown what had happened previously, it probably threw them off, but it didn't throw me off. I was like, yeah, I remember that happening. Yeah. Oh, I missed that line of dialogue. Yeah. You know, like all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's not confusing at all, but yeah. And then later on, you know, the finale, like I said, is great. But anyway, yeah. If I had to rate this game, which I don't like to do, but no, I'll just give you a recommendation. So if I say, from now on, my reviews will actually be whether you should buy, rent, or pass. So of course this is a buy. Buy the game if you're into driver and you're into driving games / racing games / action adventure games. Definitely buy it. If you're not quite sure about it, even if you do like all of those genres, if you're not quite sure, go rent it. But I guarantee you that you'll love it. Go buy the game. But yeah, there's no chance of you passing this game, because this game is amazing. You have to at least buy it. If not, give it a rental if you can't afford to buy it, because of all the amazing games coming out in November anyway. But yeah, so that's my review for Drive to San Francisco. Yeah, I finished it about 2 days or so ago. So now I've just really been playing the shit out of Dead Island, and I've nearly finished it, so that review will come soon. But anyway, there you go, Drive to San Francisco review. See you later, guys.